Hello, friends. How are you? My name is Mike. This channel right here is Health and Wealth. Thank you for joining me today. Today is part two of a video I made 3 days ago. 3 days ago, this is the video right here I made. It was about Misty versus PLTY. I'll put a link over here if you want to watch that first, and then come back to this video after. I missed a couple points, and in the comments, I took in a couple points from people, and I'm making the video about that right now. So, Misty versus PLTY was the premise of the video. A lot of people in the comments mentioned we have both already, which is good. Yeah, good for you. And by the way, this isn't advice, just talking about Misty versus PLTY here. These are two yieldmax ETFs, two momentum plays, and I really want to use the word momentum here because I think that's really important when you look at yield max ETFs, right? So high yield distribution payers. Now, why are they high yield? It's because they have a lot of volatility. I almost said voluminous, but they have a lot of volatility, which means that they're creating momentum. There's things happening that are creating volatility in its share price, which helps with its options play. So Misty and PLTY have both been phenomenal so far since they've come out. Misty's been out for about 15 months, coming up on 16 months here. PLTY out in October. So let's do the math on it. What's that, like 9 months, something like that? And so far, PLTY's paid out $35.08 in distribution in a very short window here. Misty's paid out $38.33 in a bit of a longer window than PLTY. Now, PLTY plays on Palantir. That's where they write their yieldmax writes their synthetic options, their calls, their weekly calls, or their monthly, bi-monthly, every couple monthly synthetic options on there as well. Now, the reason that Palantir and PLTY specifically is doing so well is because Palantir last year was the number one traded stock on the NASDAQ. This year it's number 3. I just saw a report on it. So that's pretty massive. So that's why the volatility is so high. It's very highly traded stock. And so this is capitalizing on that. Now, Misty is trading with Mr. MicroStrategy or just strategy. And it also is extremely volatile, thus it paying out a massive distribution. You can see all the different distributions there so far. Now, is that starting to slow down? Let's go take a look here. I've got Mr.'s stock price open in front of me. I also have a 1-month chart. This is just on Google, by the way. If you have a brokerage account, you could probably find a way more detailed graph than this. In that graph, something that you may want to look at is volume. Now, for me with Questrade, I can look at volume. It's pretty easy to look at. It's red and it's green. The bigger the stick, the more volume there is, right? And so I've noticed lately with Mr. is that volume has started to slow down a little bit. Mr. over the last 1 month here, down 10% in share price. Now, it did have a massive climb. There it is, 6 months, right? Down 7.75%. It did have a massive climb last year. You can see from a year ago to now, it's up 154% in share price. Like, that's pretty incredible. And how did that benefit you or me as somebody that owns Misty? Well, we got all of these distributions down here. These are all dollar amounts that came out every 4 weeks, right? So we got some massive distributions because of that volume. Now, if you take a look at its volume coming up here, it is starting to slow down just a little bit, but we should still get some pretty good distributions. The problem with share price coming down is that the share price of Misty will also come down a little bit here. And generally when the price of your yield max ETF price comes down, so does your distribution. It starts to slow down a little bit as well. So we're at $20.86. This thing came out 14 months ago. Since its inception, it's down 3.43% or 74 cents. If you are somebody that's held it from day one, I don't think you necessarily really care about that too much because you've brought in $38.33 so far. So that's that talk. Right now, Misty, I actually have 248 shares of Misty. It's I'm going to climb that up to 500 personally, just because I do believe in Bitcoin. I believe in Mr. buying Bitcoin all the time. And so I think, it's going to be good for a long time, but it's something to pay attention to. If the volume in Mr. drops off the face of the planet, then same thing will happen to Misty. Your distributions will go down. They won't be as lucrative as they are right now. Palantir, I mean, take a look at this, right? Over the last year here, Palantir's up an astonishing 497%. This is why your PLTY in that same time is up 31%, but you've got a massive distribution of $35.08. PLTY, PLTY is going to be paying out this time next week. Wednesday is going to be the announcement date for its upcoming distribution. Thursday will be the X date, which means that you have to have your money in before Thursday to benefit from the Friday's distribution. I don't have any predictions on it, only because I don't necessarily look at this every day. But it has been, I mean, let's go back to Palantir over the last month here, very volatile, up almost 9% in the 1 month period or the last 4 weeks. So that bodes well for your share price in that month, right? Or maybe it doesn't. We're doing it live. Maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe it has something to do with the distribution that came out. Most likely is that right there. Yeah, that would be your X date right there. So let's go from here to here. Yeah, so there you go. You are up 10% after the X date that happened this last 4-week cycle here. So yeah, it kind of bodes out the same way. So you should be getting a pretty decent distribution. Now, something that I didn't mention was this. I actually opened up a cool chart here. This, if you want to take a look at the website, it's called dividendchannel.com. Really easy to use. Up at the top, you just kind of search your symbol right here. I searched Misty, and then you can compare it to, if you scroll down, over on the right here, you can compare it. You can set the dates, and then you can kind of compare if you drop $10,000 into each one. Where would you be? So what I did is I started on October. You know what? I'm going to change it up, actually. I'm going to go October 1st. Because I think PLTY came out October 8th or October 10th, something like that. And I'm going to end it today. And I'm going to compare it to PLTY. So I'm comparing Misty to PLTY. I want us to take a look at the differences in the graph here. It's not like massive, but there is a difference. Okay, so the top one here is if you didn't or if you did drip, right? Do you drip, bro? Which means that you just let the system automatically reinvest all of your distributions back into these funds, right? You didn't take any cash. You just kind of dripped it back in, no matter what the price was. So top one here, start date October 8th for both. Misty's in the black. PLTY is in the blue. Starting price was $27.35. The end price is actually just slightly under $21 now for Misty. You were able to buy 365 shares. Now, I'm going to pause right there, go over to the PLTY section. Starting price for PLTY was $51.43. It's gone up in share price because Palantir has done very well over the last 8-9 months. So because the starting price was higher, you were only able to buy 194 shares compared to 365. So with drip, you ended with 835 Misties, and with drip, you ended up with 332 PLTYs. Your dividend reinvestments here, you can see a major difference, right? 2256 in Misty, and then 3509 in PLTY. Because PLTY had an amazing last 8-9 months. So you can see annualized gain here, 178% for PLTY, 111% for Misty. But I think it's important to understand, if you had $10,000, yeah, you're going to buy less shares of PLTY, but its return was greater only because the stock was unstoppable during that period of time. If you take a look here, your end total would have been at this moment 22 grand with PLTY or 17,544 with Misty. So I remember the videos clearly. I made these videos on PLTY, and a majority of the comments said, "I'm not buying it. It's too expensive. It's more expensive than Palantir." And if you had bought Palantir at the time, you would have been further ahead than you are with PLTY. And that's how it goes with these momentum players. Think about the underlying. If you like the company, it's good to get the income for sure, but it's also nice to have the growth as well. So that's, again, I'm saying that that's why I bought Nvidia, because I like the company and I want to have that growth as well. Down below is if you didn't drip at all, bro. And so you can see the same numbers here. It's just a little bit lower in the amount of money you've brought in. So you've taken those distributions and you put them somewhere else, essentially, is what you've done. So can I go there? Yeah, I'll go here. Here, how about that? And so you can see here with PLTY, you ended up with $19,755, and then with MSTY, you ended up with $15,927. Now, what did you do with that extra $2,000, $2,400 on MSTY? Well, you probably either used it for life, paid for the gas, or you reinvested that in somewhere else potentially. A strategy that I've been really thinking about is taking a portion of the distributions and putting it into a stable stock, or a more stable stock, or more stable ETF, to continue to grow it, but in more of a stable format, something that where I won't lose out as much on share price and hopefully gain some share price, and things like that. Now, for me, I'm not invested in PLTY at all, but I do have the Canadian version. I've had it for just over 1 month now. It's called PLTE, and then a .to, the Toronto Stock Exchange, and it's been really, really good for me so far. I'm up on share price, paying out a good distribution so far in the 1 month I've had it. I've been really happy with it. So I'm going to continue to grow that one as we go here, because I think it's going to be good for my future. Now, there was, of course, there's a story, right? There's a story here whenever I looked up Palantir stock. Very first story, prediction: Palantir stock will plummet in the second half of 2025. Here's the reasons why. So before you go dropping all your cash and margin and in homers, I mean marges, no, I meant margin, into one fund, understand the risk of investing in one fund. It's risky business. And, yesterday, as an example, was part of that risk. Israel dropping bombs on Iran and drones and all of this stuff. It's risky business to invest in volatile stocks with, political pressure, with all of this stuff happening in the world. In my opinion, it's not the best time to just kind of drop all your cash in, but maybe sprinkle it in a little bit. And just prepare for the worst. So things that I'm doing to prepare for the worst is I'm taking a portion of all distributions I get, except for Coney, which is dripping, and I'm taking a small portion and I'm creating a cash pile, and in hopes that I will have cash if the market does dip. I can go ahead and buy the dip, because right now I can't. I don't want to buy the dip because today, it was like 1%. That's it. I was expecting way more. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I'm taking a portion of my distributions as cash. That way I can be better prepared for if the market does kind of have a dip. I can take advantage of that because I want to buy low and sell high. I don't know about you guys and how you feel about that. But today's video, I just wanted to kind of go over a couple little facts with you there. I think it's important to kind of be well-rounded and understand what you get into before you buy into it. Again, if you like this video, you're going to probably love the first video, which is this one right here. My name is Mike. This is Health and Wealth. Have a great day. Bye for now.